All right, everybody. Here's my second attempt at doing this little update summary of the Exodus assignment. I tried to do it on my phone so it would be quicker to post right to Facebook than uploading this, but did not work or it's taking forever. So I'm just going to do this again here briefly. So um, this is the historicity of the Exodus research paper, which I've already done a little bit on, but I wanted to reiterate some things as many of you are texting or emailing or Facebooking me with questions and so forth. To clarify, you need to first do one of two things. Do you believe the Exodus actually happened or not? That is what you're going to write the paper on. Hopefully, all of you are going to write that the Exodus did happen. It was a real event, not a metaphor. And then once you have framed it, that's what your 4 to 5 page paper is about. You're going to then take these nuggets, briefly introduce significant scholarly opinions or camps about the Exodus. That means within the debate of whether the Exodus happened or not, there are various things that you can address camps about whether it happened or not. And then we say the minimum of two, at least 3/4 a page total of why this issue is important. What that means is that you need at least two of these camps. I'm going to give you now an example of what some of these camps are. I just went to Rational Wiki, which is a very anti the Exodus site, but it talks about some of the main issues that are debated, which is such as the Egyptian record keeping techniques, the Sinai Peninsula, non-existent cities, signs of national chaos, and you can read this in more detail or pause this video and just zoom in and read what it has here. But the point is these are some examples of some of those camps. So you would have to take at least two of these camps, if that makes sense, and then write at least 3/4 of a page on those camps about the significant opinions about the Exodus, and then you're essentially addressing why it's important that the Exodus happen. Um, um, well, so sorry, you're gonna introduce the scholarly opinions and then why the issue in general about why the Exodus happened or not is important. Okay, so that's two different dynamics all on that same bullet. You're going to introduce some of these debates within whether the Exodus happened or not, and then why the issue is important. And you have to have at least two. You might want to cover, if you're finding some smaller ones, you can definitely do more than two, but it needs to be a significant portion of the paper. And then you're going to state your position or your thesis and defend on multiple grounds that such as the historical, textual, theological, and more in dialogue with other positions. Okay, so then you are going to essentially say, probably, I believe the Exodus happened, and in your thesis statement, it's going to briefly say why, but then you're going to go on to defend that on multiple grounds. So you're going to address historical things, textual things, theological things that you're finding. So none of those have to be the whole paper isn't going to be just about the historical things or just about the things in the text or the scriptures or just theological, but it's going to include multiple levels. So basically everything you can find to defend your position, you're going to include here, right? So, this is when you're going to avoid simplistic theological arguments, like because it was mentioned here in the Bible, then it must be true, right? So that's not going to do any good, when you address a debate today with someone who is looking at all the archaeological or historical evidence, right? And then you're going to make your argument for your position to anticipate a response to any possible responses or rebuttals from other positions. So, as I am gleaning from several of you, so don't take this as embarrassment in any ways for those that brought it to me, and I'm not mentioning names, but it's totally normal. You'll find a lot of stuff about this Ron Wyatt guy, who dove into the sea in 1978, and he released a set of low-resolution images of vaguely wheel-shaped coral formations of what looks very much like modern steel shut-off valve control wheels as proof of his discovery. He died in '99, claimed to have brought one of these wheels to the surface and sent to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, and claimed that it was dated back to the 18th dynasty. However, no record of the wheel entering the museum has ever been found. The article itself has never been seen, and no photographs of it on the surface have ever been released. Okay, so that doesn't mean that it wasn't a discovery. It just means that that's probably not the strongest. You're seeing that these are the rebuttals. That's a rebuttal against Ron Wyatt and that chariot wheel that's found on the bottom of the ocean. And when you Google this, you'll find a million different things about Ron Wyatt's discovery of the chariot wheel on the bottom of the ocean. There may be some good stuff on that I haven't seen, but the point is this is old, and that there is a rebuttal against it. So if you're going to use this, you need to have a rebuttal against comments like this that basically say this is not a reliable archaeological find. We don't even have it. There's no record of the museum having it, and the photos that we do have are pretty low quality, right? And if you even go on most of the websites that reference it, you see those pretty rough-looking underwater photos that could be something, but they certainly aren't evidence of anything, right? So that's just an example of what we're talking about when we want you to essentially, as you construct your argument, make sure that you anticipate and respond to possible responses or rebuttals from other positions when you bring up your evidence. Okay. Finally, and this is a key element of the whole paper, you're going to have a final section of the theological consequences of your overarching view for today's church. Meaning, if you're saying that the Exodus did happen, what is the overarching significance of that view for the church today? So does it matter whether the Exodus happened or not? And I would say that it does, but you need to argue why. What impact does your view have on the faith and practice of the church, either broadly or specifically evangelical? Okay, so your sources, I don't mind if you use websites and necessarily journal articles, but you need to be really careful that these aren't just blogs, that they're good quality, that you're not just finding one guy that said one thing, but this is a documented or well-supported view or claim or support for the Exodus if you're using it, okay? That's all I ask, and worst case, you're going to get a lot of good experience about answering these kind of biblical debate type questions by just doing quick internet searches and seeing that it takes a little bit of time to find the solid stuff, but you can certainly, at least with some effort, find the heart and the core of the debate and bring to light where you would argue that a Bible believing Christian should be on a topic. All right, so have at it. You'll be fine. So you can still question me, call me. I prefer email today because I have already gotten quite a bit of callbacks on other things I need to do today. But do send me a Facebook message or email if you need me. Okay.